Dragon Ball Super episode 98 is now officially in the history books, as right now we're about to dissect and break down Dragon Ball Super episode 99's preview and seeing firsthand as to what's going to be going down in this week's episode. And again, if you guys have any questions and or concerns or comments to add, go on ahead and drop your comments down in the comment section below, as it's going to be a very interesting preview, primarily showcasing Krillin's power and seeing what Krillin's going to be doing going into next week's episode. And again, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to go on ahead and punch that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way you guys are always notified whenever I post a video on this channel. Hashtag notification squad. So without wasting any more time, let's go on ahead and dive straight into the overall preview. So right from the beginning, guys, as you guys can see right here, we have Master Roshi. Now, we don't really know as to what Roshi's involvement is going to be going into next week's episode. However, I think we can all assume and speculate that their team is going to be attacked, because in this episode, we haven't seen anything from Roshi. We haven't seen anything from Gohan. So, I mean, even though Roshi isn't going to be focused in next week, I still think that it'll be interesting to see Roshi having to have any sort of involvement with like the female characters. So hopefully enough we get that, because if we get any sort of interaction with Roshi and the female, that'll be cool. But as you guys can see, we have Master Roshi commencing with a Kamehameha, having to fire that at somebody. So I'm assuming here that maybe somebody's going to be attacking their group, in which forces Roshi to use a Kamehameha, but I digress. So we see Roshi launching the Kamehameha, looks badass as ever, and then we see Krillin. Okay, so Krillin also fires off a Kamehameha at, you know, a random target. And as you guys can see here, so this is what I feel like is going to be very important, because we see Kamehamehas pretty much flying over the heads of the angels. So maybe this is some sort of symbolism to the angels having to look over and watch and observe and just pretty much take notice of the fighters, because we saw, based on Dragon Ball Super episode 98, what happened at the end. So maybe here we have this angel here who's also very observant. She's probably laughing or something, you know, seeing the idea that maybe her universe is the one attacking them, but nevertheless, I digress. So we see the Kamehameha go over her head, and we also get to see Gowasu and Ramush, and they look to be very surprised. And it says here, Universe 4 under Katella is attacking. So it looks like Universe number 4 is going to be primarily attacking Universe number 7, and which is a big mistake if you want to adapt and see where Katella's coming from, because Katella as a whole, I think his universe is going to get foddered really fast. So for them to attack, I think it's a grave mistake. But nonetheless, we know that as of right now, the preview, episode 4, episode 4's fighters are going to be attacking. So who knows what's going to be going down? But I'm really concerned and surprised as to why Gowasu and Ramush are reacting like this. So let's go ahead and dive on further here. Okay, so we have this giant Pidgeotto, this giant Birdman, who is seemingly fighting somebody, and in which case we see, based on the overall preview right here, it looks like this bird, or at least somebody, launches something in Krillin's direction, and it happened really quick, but I want to go ahead and point something out to you. So as this blast is coming down upon Krillin, we see someone none other than Gohan having to make the save. So I'm really happy that Gohan is following the whole teamwork basis, because nobody else is as of right now. So as Gohan is going to be, it looks like he's going to be taking this blast head on, which is essential, I think, for the team. But in terms of what's going to be happening with Krillin, I mean, it would make sense for Krillin to tank the attack if the episode's going to focus more on him. But having to see this, it looks like Krillin is going to be interfering, or at least Gohan's going to be interfering to save Krillin from certain, situations. So as you guys can see here, Gohan makes the save in what assumingly is an attack, because as you guys can see, it seems to be, raining down closer and closer. And then as we pan out here, it looks like Beerus isn't concerned. It looks like he has some questions. I mean, as you guys can see, his face pretty much says it all. And then it looks like he also has like an expression of like concern going on here, as you guys can see, based on his eyes and stuff. So I'm really curious to see, where Beerus stands in all this, because we saw in episode 98 how he was so concerned, even yelling at his brother for cheering on the other team. So that was pretty cool to see, honestly. But let's go ahead and fast forward here. Alright, so it looks like he's talking to the Supreme Kai. I think that they're discussing the overall teamwork basis of what Universe 7 is doing. But aside from that, I mean, I don't think there's much going on here that can, give us any sort of, clue as to what they're talking about. So we're gonna go ahead and pan out over here. It says, with their crafty attacks, number 18 is in trouble. So based on Universe 4's crafty attacks, it looks like Android 18 is going to be in trouble, which again, I don't understand why that's the case because Android 18 is very powerful. So if someone can explain to me as to what these attacks are that cause her to have trouble, that'd be great, but for me at least, it just doesn't make any sense to see her struggle with such a fodder universe. So let's go ahead and jump over here. Okay, so we have this dude. I don't know who he is. Obviously, he's the rabbit dude, and you're about to see what he can do right now. So he collides with Krillin. They begin to exchange shots, and right here, so it looks like this dude, this fodder green-like rabbit looks to be beating up Krillin. And again, once more, you have to pretty much take into consideration that Krillin is going to have a very pivotal role, because what I've noticed so far is once this episode, or at least once the overall tournament gives you like some sort of airtime, it looks like, you know, your airtime just means that you're going to be ringed out at some given point, as seen with universe number 9 prior to, you know, episode 98, in which we saw episode 97 with Basil, and then episode 98 they all got eliminated. So maybe here we're focusing more on universe number 4 and Krillin, because we do know that Krillin will be eliminated. But with that being said, does this also mean that universe number 4 is going to get thrown out as well? So this dude kicks Krillin right in the mouth, and as you guys can see over, let me see, right here, Krillin looks to be in danger as he's trying to duck and dodge and trying to counter attacks and stuff. But again, as I said, the episode is titled Krillin's True Power, so I think the only way for him to unleash his true power is to save 18. That's just my guess. I don't think it's because of situations like this. As you guys just saw, it looks like Krillin just fucking farted and like red stuff is coming out of his ass. But nonetheless, I mean, Krillin is a popular character in Japan, which is why I think that, you know, they're having this episode solely based on him. And it says, Krillin, coordinate attacks with 18 for a showdown with universe number 4. So it's undoubtedly clear that they are going to collide with universe number 4. That's going to be the primary target here. And of course, as you guys can see right here, it looks like Champa's probably cheering on universe number 4, because Champa so far, he's been cheering on universe number 9. He's been cheering on every other universe that opposes universe number 7. So it really wouldn't surprise me if fat ass Champa here is cheering on universe number 4. But we see him screaming, we see him yelling, classic Champa, and we see Goku in engagement mode. So what I really hope happens here is I really hope that Goku either runs into Hit or runs into Jiren, in which he gets into fighting stance, because I really can't see Goku having to take anyone else from universe number 4 serious. So I'm hoping that here we get to see Goku in battle position as he either encounters Jiren again, or by some chance he encounters Hit, because I think that that'll be a very suitable way to build up, you know, possible matches between those characters. But having to see this, I can only assume that he's preparing for somebody. So we pan over here, so we have this giant bird, right? And I'm sorry, but these birds, I mean, they're gonna get foddered. They're gonna get foddered. I mean, look at his face. He looks like, you know, someone that was picked on in school, and, you know, by some chance many years later, he gained so much, you know, notoriety in the field that he works in, and now he has all the power. So look at his face. He just looks like the face of somebody that you just want to smack. So I really hope that Krillin smacks his beak off. Now, a lot of you guys were saying that Krillin is going to be doing this over here, in which obviously he's prepping for the you know, Destructo Disc. So people were assuming that maybe the Destructo Disc is going to be something to where it lands Krillin in trouble, because he's either going to kill somebody by accident, or he's going to do something to where he's going to get disqualified, which again, it'll make sense in a way. But as you guys can see over here, he charges up the overall Destructo Disc, and from my understanding, I don't think that the Destructo Disc is going to kill this guy, because if anything, the first person you want to have break the rules is Krillin. Do you guys really think that makes sense? In essence, I think that overall that should be given to somebody else, but not Krillin, because I don't think Krillin would ever kill somebody, even if it's for the sake of protecting his wife. I just can't see Krillin doing it. So as you guys can see here, he charges up for the Destructo Disc, and he says, let's show them our true power. So he fires off the Destructo Discs now, in which he fires them off, and this bird is ducking and dodging everything, of course. So again, these birds are able to fly because they have wings, so they have that privilege. But my only concern is, as you guys can see right over here, so look right there, the Destructo Disc actually hits him, and do you see the cut in his wings? If you guys pay close attention, you can see the cut in his wings. So he does get murked, as you guys can see a little closer right here. Alright, so pay attention to his wing. There you go, and then all of a sudden there's a hole right there. So maybe by some chance Krillin inflicts critical damage, but I really can't see Krillin having to kill somebody in this tournament, because I think that it wouldn't fit his character. I think that overall, the person that should throw Krillin out, I think, should be either Frost or somebody else, but I don't think he should be ringed out via having to kill somebody, especially this guy. So he hits this guy. This guy seems like he just shat himself. Again, typical Krillin, having to do the whole peace sign symbol and whatnot. So we're going to go ahead and fast forward here. Now, here we go. Now, this is something very interesting, because as you guys can see here, we see Android 18 prepping to fight Frost. Now, we've never seen, number one, we've never seen the androids ever meet Frieza. And we've never seen the androids having to engage a Frieza-like character in the form of combat. So I want to know down below, do you guys think that by some chance Frost is going to be stronger than number 18, or do you guys believe that 18 is going to be superior to Frost? Because having to look at this, I'm sorry to say, but I think that in this instance, someone like Frost, I think, would have the advantage, because as you guys can see right over here, as we pan over further in the preview, Frost begins to turn around. So obviously enough, the title is called Show Them Krillin's True Power. So with that being said, as you guys can see Frost's movements, 18 looks to challenge him, and then Frost turns around. So you have to ask yourself as to what's happening here, if Frost is going to engage with 18, if Frost is going to be the person that gives number 18 that fight, and in which I do hope that's the case, because we haven't seen anything from Frost. And as you guys can see here, she has glasses. She has these sunglasses. So I don't know why she's rocking these glasses. Again, these glasses could be considered to be weapons, because items are not allowed to be thrown into this tournament. So this is technically an item. So I don't know why this is. I don't know why she's rocking any sort of shades. Maybe because my only guess for this is she's rocking those sunglasses because maybe Krillin uses the 100 times solar flare attack to distract, you know, 18's opponents. That's the only reason I can see 18 rocking those shades, because if you guys remember when Krillin and Gohan were training, android number 18 gave Goku the exact same shades to protect his eyes from the 100 times solar flare technique. So what I'm guessing here is that maybe she's gonna be guarding herself from the 100 times solar flare attack, just as Krillin makes the save. So we see the glasses, and we see Krillin get into fighting position, and then last but not least, we see him, and he looks to be very angry. So again, there's not much to go based off this preview other than the idea that we're gonna see 18 engage with Frost. And I think that what's interesting about this is seeing not only where 18 stands, but also seeing where Frost stands, because I mean, technically speaking, a lot of us can agree that, you know, 18 should be able to beat up Frost because of her immense power, right? But I really don't think that's the case, because I think that at this given point, Frost has improved so much that I would have to give the fight to Frost, because having to see what he did with Hit, having to see what Hit said about him, I think that his overall tenacity thus far and seeing what happened has allowed him to increase in power. So I definitely think that 18 will fight Frost. But even having to go back here and looking at this bird, again, I don't think that Krillin is gonna, you know, kill this guy by any chance. I think that overall, these guys are gonna get fodderized. But either way, it says Krillin coordinate attacks with 18. So, you know, that's my overall thoughts and prediction on that, is the idea that, you know, we're gonna see primarily 18 and Krillin having to target these dudes. But I mean, once it comes down to 18 having to fight someone like Frost, I think that that's gonna be to the point where Krillin's gonna get ringed out, because we understand that Krillin will get ringed out at some given point, but the question is how. We don't really know. But I think that Frost is going to be that person to throw Krillin out the ring per se, because I can't see anybody else doing it aside from Frost per se. Because I can't see Krillin having to kill somebody. That's just not in his character. But I'm also curious as to what the heck Roshi's doing and who he's fighting. So also we see the angel having to look up, and again, these angels are giving me a very ominous vibe, because after what we saw during the Dragon Ball Super episode 98 ending, we saw Mojito laughing as Sidra and Ro and everyone else was erased. So, I mean, these angels don't seem to have a care in the world because they know they're exempt, and that's the only thing that gives them the edge. So the question is as to what's going to be going down, you know, once this happens. I mean, I'm just curious to see, you know, what happens with the angels so far, because they're the only ones that I feel have taken a lot of interest in me as of last night's episode. So post your comments down below, guys. What are your overall thoughts on this episode? What are your overall thoughts on the preview? And what are your overall thoughts on this rabbit dude having to kick Krillin in the face? I mean, this is just sad because like after all the airtime that Krillin had, one can only assume that Krillin should be, to a degree, you know, stronger than anybody that he comes across in terms of Universe number 4. But I want to hear your thoughts down below and pertains to this fighter. And once again, guys, thank you all for watching. If you guys are ready for Dragon Ball Super episode 99, go ahead and smash that like button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, guys, for more news, information, and updates. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you guys down in the comment section below. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.